Let me break it down for ya. They call me Fola, the data queen, analyzing data with my eagle eye.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. How have you been? How are you all doing? I trust you've been good and hitting your 2024 goals back to back, right? Good. Right, so I'm back, and in today's video I'll be showing us how to extract data from the web, right? Using Power BI. A lot of the times, for most of us who are data analysts, when visualizing or working with data, we get our data from either an Excel file, a CSV file, or a database. But what if the data I want to use for my analysis resides on the web? How do I scrape it? How do I get this data to work with? And that's what I'll be demonstrating here today. I'll be showing us two examples of this web scraping using two different websites. And the first website we'll be looking at is this website I have on here called data.worldbank.org, right? So once you come onto this website, this is what it looks like. It has the data set of the major indicators for different countries, such as the GDP growth, the population, the life expectancy at birth, inflation rate, and a lot of other things. Okay, so once you come onto the website, all you have to do is scroll down a little bit and come up here or come down here where it says more resources and click on data bank. Okay, once you click on data bank, at the um, right hand side here, you will see that we have different indicators listed for us here, such as the GDP growth, the GDP per capita, export of goods and services, and then inflation and consumer price indexes, life expectancy at birth, and so many other indicators. If you also want to search by country, you can click on country here to search. But for what I want to demonstrate today, I want to look at a particular indicator for all the countries. So what for that case, and what we'll be looking at, the indicator we'll be looking at is the life expectancy at birth. And then you just click on that. Once it loads up the page for us, the next thing we will have to do, okay, so before we go on to the next thing to do, here you will see that we have a list of different countries. We have a total of 217 countries here. And then we have a time period of 16 years. But let's say I don't want 16 years. Let's say I want for the past 10 years. How do I get it? All you have to do is just click on this place that says add time. And by default, it has selected from 2000 to 2015 for us. But that's not what I want. I want for the last 10 years. I just click on 10 here. Okay. Let's say view recent years. Click on 10. And then we'll have the data from 2014 to 2023 pulled up for us. 2024 has not shown here because we are still in the middle of 2024, just at second quarter. So by the end of 2024, we'll see 2024 data shown up here. So once you select the number of years, you can close this page and click on apply changes. Once the changes are applied, the next thing you do is just come up here and copy the URL. So I'm doing Control C to copy. Once you have the link copied, because we want to scrape using Power BI, we'll go onto our Power BI desktop. I've opened up one, right? Open up a blank Power BI Canva and come up here where it says Get Data. Click on the drop down arrow, and that will show you a list of different data sources that you can connect to. Like I said before, most of us are familiar with getting data from Excel workbook, from text file, or even from a database. In one of my previous videos, I already showed you how to get data from Google BigQuery, which is an online database, an open source online database, right? In another video, I'll be showing you how to get data from SQL Server, that's Microsoft SQL database, if you have one. But for today's tutorial, we are getting it from the web, so we click on web. Once you click on that, it's asking us to put a URL, right? So the URL we have copied from the web, you just do Ctrl V to paste it here, and you click on OK. Okay, so let's hold on for it to load up. Right, so we have the tables from that web page loaded up here for us. If you scroll down, you'll see that we have three sections. We have this section that says HTML tables, and then we have this section that says suggested tables, and then text. Now, for the HTML tables, those are the ones that are obvious that they are in tabular form on the website. That means that the data is arranged in rows and columns and obvious on the website, right? Now, the suggested tables are the ones that are not explicitly stated or listed as tables on the website, but when you pull them out, they can come out in form of tables. Now, this one here that says text, they are HTML codes or textual data that are unstructured and not in tabular form. Now, for this one, our table is in a tabular form as we earlier saw on the website. If you go back there, you'll see that we have the data in rows and columns. We have the years in the columns and then the countries in the rows, right? Okay, so you come here and go under the HTML tables, click on each of them to have a preview and see which one has the data that we want to extract. So definitely it is not table 1. Table 3 doesn't have the data we want. So I just scan through all of the tables quickly to see which one has data. Okay. Right. So the data we want is stored in this table called table 28. That's the one I have clicked on. And if you look at it, it has the data we just saw on the website now. Okay. So once you ascertain which table has your data, all you have to do next is click on the check box beside the table name, right? So that we can load it onto Power Query and do our data cleaning activities. So once you do that, the next thing you do is click on Transform Data. Right. So once you have your transform data loaded up for you, you can do all your data cleaning activities such as renaming your columns, ensuring that you have your data in the right data types, removing duplicates, removing blanks, and things like that. I won't be doing all of that here because the video is just to demonstrate how to get data from the web. But in an ideal situation, once you have your data, you always want to do data cleaning and normalization activities, right? Before you load onto Power BI. But like I said, I won't be doing all of that here. So for me, I'll click here and click close and apply. And once you click close and apply, it will apply your data. It will load your data onto Power Query. And then you can begin to create your visualizations and derive insights and trends from the data. Okay, so this is the first method that I mentioned of extracting data from the web. In the next one, it is a similar one, right? But for that, we don't have. So for this, remember I said we have the data in a tabular form, which is rows and columns. But what if the data I want to extract is not in rows and columns? How do I get them? And that's the next method I will be looking at. Okay, so in this next example, I'll be showing us with this website. That's the amazon.co.uk, right? And all you have to do is just come to amazon.co.uk or any website whatsoever at all that you would like to scrape data from, and you know that you do not have this data in a tabular form like we have in the first example, right? So let's say I have come to Amazon and I want to get a laptop, but I don't have time to scroll through all of the laptops that they have here to be able to make an informed decision. So what I want to do is to search for laptop on the platform, and then let's say I want a. Now on the left hand side you have a list of filters that you can use to filter out for the kind of laptop you want, the CPU type, the operating system on the laptop, the display size, the hard drive capacity, the screen size, and things like that. So for this example, let's say um, I want a laptop between 13 to 14 inches, right? And let's say I want a laptop that has a memory capacity of 1 terabyte and above. Okay, so I'm selecting 1 terabyte and above. So this has filtered my result based on that. And let's even say I want a RAM size of 32 gig. Okay, now I have my result here that has been filtered out for me. Okay, now the next thing you want to do, just like we did in the other one, is to get the URL of this website. So I just come up here, okay, and do Control C, and then go back to my Power BI, open a blank Power BI, and then similarly, you come on to where it says Get Data, click on Web, okay, and then you paste the URL here, just like we've done before, and you go ahead and click on OK. Once you do that, it will stream all of the data that we require. But like I said, if you notice, you will see that we do not have the data we want here in a tabular form like we did in the word.gov, the other website that we used as an example. Okay, so we have this in text format. We have the laptop name, the amount, the display size, the hard disk description, whether it's an SSD or HDD, the CPU model, the memory size, even the product review. We have that here. Okay, so you can just go ahead and stream or scrape whatever information you would want. So let's say in this example, I want to scrape the laptop name. That is compulsory. I want to know the amount. I want to know the display size, the hard disk size or the hard disk description, the CPU model, and the memory size. Let's say these are all the information I want to get, okay? Now let's go back to our Power BI. Now we will see that we have HTML tables, suggested tables, and HTML code. But let's see this HTML table if it contains the information that we have. So we can see that no, it doesn't have the information that we want, right? Now, sometimes you may have the suggested table containing part of the information, which is not all of it. So for this one, it has the laptop name, it has the I think the amount. I'm not sure what that third column is for. It has the display size, the hard disk distribution, and the um, right. So this is the RAM capacity here. So this one has the information that we need. But let's assume that we don't even have any table at all here that has the information that we need. So for this one, for example, that has the information, just like in the other one, just what you will have to do is just check the box beside the table name and transform your data. and then you can begin to work with it. But let's assume we don't have any suggested table that has the information that we want. In that case, you can do add table using examples. You see this button down here that says add table using examples, right? So it's similar to the functionality we have in Power Query add column from examples, whereby you give it an example of what you want and then it gets the remaining ones for you. So it's a similar thing here. Let's try that out. You click on add table using examples. So like I said, in the first one, I want to get the laptop name. So in my result here, the first name is HP ProBook 645 and it ends with renewed in brackets HP ProBook 645. So let's go back to Power Query, and then under column 1 where you have number 1, the first row, you double click on it and then you begin to type HP ProBook 645 and then it ends with renewed in bracket. That's the first one there. You double click to select it, right? To add an additional column, you click on this plus sign here that says insert column. Once you click on that, the next thing we want to get is the price of the laptop, right? So the price of this HP ProBook is £255. Okay, and then what else do we want to get after that? £255 for the price. The display size is 14 inches. Okay, so back to Power BI, double click on column 2, 3. Oh, can I remember the price? Let me check again. Sorry. 255 and then 14 inches. Okay, so 255. As you begin to type, it will show you all the options that you have. Again, I'll go for this second one, 255.00. Okay, now I'll add another column by clicking on the plus sign again to add the inches that we have. So for this one, it is 14 inches, which is the third one here. That's how it's written on the website, right? 14 inches. You double click. I want to add another column. Click on the plus sign. And then what do we have again? So we have the hard disk description. For this one, it is SSD. And then we have the CPU model to be 2 gigahertz speed. Okay, so let's go and add the hard disk description SSD. That's the first one. And then I'll add another column for the speed. And the speed was 2 gigahertz speed. And then the memory is 32 gigabytes. So the column is 2 gigahertz speed, which is the second one. Double click on that. And then I'll add one more column for my RAM size, which is 32. And it's the first one here. You double click it. So I'm done with getting the data for the first laptop in my search, for the first result in my search, right? Now, if you have noticed already, you will see that Power BI is already sensing the kind of data we want and is already gotten some for us. But to make it more intelligent, right, to be more precise, to avoid any form of error, because if you notice, you'll see that the second one is extracted here is not exactly the second data that we have here. The price for the second result is 396, but it's gone ahead to show us the one with £1,249. So to avoid things like this, it's better to give it like 2 or 3 examples and then allow it to extract the rest for you. So for this one, the next one here is Dell Latitude 5300. Dell Latitude 5300 and the price is 396. Okay, so let's go there and then you double click on the second row, Dell Latitude 5300, Okay, let me finish typing 5300. Okay, so that is this first one in this list here. I'll double click on that, and then the price is, you double click on the price for the column. Sorry, that's the second one. So we can see that it's automatically corrected for us, and the price is 396. Okay, and then let's confirm the inches now. Is it 13.3 inches? Yes, 13.3 inches, right? And the hard disk description is also SSD. The CPU is 1.9 and then 32. So SSD 1.9 and 32. Let's confirm if that's what we have. SSD 1.9 and 32. That's great. Confirm the third one as well, which is so the third one in our result is HP EliteBook 360, and then the price is £695. Is that what we have? HP Elite 360. The price, it didn't bring the price for us, so let's pick that. 695. So all you have to do is just double click here and type 695, which is the second one. Okay, and then we have the inch size to be 14 and the hard disk description SSD, inch size 14, hard disk description SSD, CPU model and the memory size. CPU model is 2.8 and then 16 for the memory size. Let's confirm. 2.8 and the memory size 16. Now, we can see that it's extracted a lot of this information, like almost everything on this page for us, right? So at this point, all you have to do is just click on OK. Okay, once you click on OK, it brings it down here as your custom table, because it's a custom table that we have generated by ourselves. Okay, and it's already selected for us. So all you have to do next is just click on transform data, because you know the ETL process, after extracting, you would want to transform to do all your data cleaning activities, or your data transformation and normalization before you go ahead to load it onto Power BI, and then before you begin to work with. So I go ahead and click on transform data, and then it will load that onto Power BI for us. Okay, so now you can see that we have all of the information extracted for us, what we have requested for. Okay, extracted for us here, and we have it here as table 7. But let me say I want to rename it to laptop data. Okay, so I renamed that to laptop data. Okay, so that's how you scrape information or data from a website when you do not have it in a tabular form, and when you do not have suggested tables that contains the information you want to extract, right? Now, there's a little bit of a challenge with this one that we have done. Even the other one also, there's a little bit of a challenge, because when you do things like this, I don't know if you have noticed that the only thing it extracted for us is just the very first page, right? But we have multiple pages that we need to extract information from. Okay, so we have only extracted from page 1, and if you notice, we have even more than 5 pages. Let's see, how many pages do we have? This is page 2, right? We still have a lot of data here. I've gone to page 5. This is page 5. Okay, so I think we have just 5 pages for my search result. Now, let's say I want to extract all the data on all these 5 pages. How do I do it? Right? So for this one, there's something called looping that we have to do, so that I can loop through all of the pages from page 1 down to 5, or whatever number of pages you would want to get. But for this one, I have just 5 pages in my search result, so I'll just do page 1 to 5. So how do we do that, right? So all you have to do is go on to page 2, right? Go to page 2. Let me go back to page 2. So I'll copy the URL for page 2 again, right? And then I'll do the same thing that I did for when I was extracting for page 1. So I've copied for page 2. I'll go back to my Power Query. Okay, so for this one, before I do that, let me click on close and apply. So come under your home tab, click on close and apply so that I can take that to my Power BI directly for me. So let's hold on while we have that done. Right, so this one only contains just 24 rows of data. Now, to get our page 2 data, you come back here and click on get data and then go on to web, just like we did for page 1. Paste the URL, click on OK, and let it get all of the information for us. So on our page 2 was our first so the first one here on page 2 says mesh computers, and the price is £999. Mesh computers. Okay, so let's go back here and do add table using examples. Column 1, I type mesh computers, and that's the first one there. Double click and then add another column for the price. The price is £999. That's the third on the list. I double click, add another column. The third information is display size, which is 14 inches, and then SSD. Double click on column 3, that's 14 inches. Double click and then add another column. Double click, and this is SSD. The first one, I select that and then I add another column. So what information do I have again? 4.2 gigahertz and then 8 gig RAM, 4.2 and 8 gig. So double click, 4.2, and then the last one is 8 gig for the RAM size. So 8 gigabyte, which is the third one. Okay, now once you do all of this, right, the next thing is, like I said, it's always best to give it like 2 or 3 examples to ensure that it's well trained for the kind of data you want to extract. So the next one on my list here is Microsoft Surface laptop. Microsoft Surface laptop, and it's 2354 Microsoft Surface laptop. Double click on row 2 and type Microsoft Surface laptop, which is the first one here. I'll double click on that, and the price for that is 2354.57. So under the column 2 for the price, I'll double click and type 2354. Okay, so it affected my first one. Sorry, let me just click out of there. Okay, so at this point, I will have to do the price column again. For the first one, mesh, we had the price at £999. Okay, so for the first column, 999, which is the third on the list. Okay, and then the second row, 2354. Now it's picked that for us, 2354. I'll double click on that, and then let's see if it's picked the inches, 14.4, 14.4, that's correct. SSD 4.8 and then 32. Let's confirm what we have. 14.4 SSD, 4.8 and 32. Now, for the next three ones, let's confirm if we have the data for the RAM size because it's empty here. So for the next three, we can see that this one doesn't have it. That's fine. The next doesn't have, the next doesn't have. And then the next one after that is Dell XPS with the price at 1,299. Let's confirm. That's number 6, right? Dell XPS 1,299. That's great. So we have our information here. Go ahead and click on OK to get it into Power Query for us. Okay. So we have it in Power Query as table 11, and then we'll click on Transform Data now. Now, once it transforms the data, we have it here as table 11. Let's just rename as page 2 so that we know it's page 2 data. Okay, page 2. Great. Now, we can't keep doing this for all of the pages. We have page 1 done manually, page 2 done manually. But how do I do page 3, 4, and 5? Right? So in that case, all you have to do is to merge the columns, the tables, right? To combine the tables into one. A simple way to do that is to click on your first data here, okay? And then before we merge, let's rename the columns. So the column 1 is laptop name and brand. The next one is the price. Double click on that. So the third one is the display size. Okay, and then the next one is hardware capacity. Okay, and then this one is the let's confirm what that information is again. Okay, so that one is on hardware capacity. That's hard disk description actually. Then CPU model, hard disk type, then this one is CPU model, and then the next one is the RAM size. Okay, which is the last column here. RAM size. Great. So we have all our columns renamed now. Now to merge page 2 onto that, all you have to do is come here. Once you select the first page data, which we named laptop data, under the steps, under applied steps, come onto where it says extracted table from HTML, because it's after we extract, we would want to merge, right? Once you're on that, click on here where it says merge query. And if you look at the description, it says merge this query with another query in the file. What's the difference between merge query and append query? Now, sorry, what we are doing is actually append query, not merge. Merge queries will combine the columns into a larger table, right? So it will increase in the width size. But append query will merge row wise. Merge query will merge column wise. Append query will merge row wise. And for this, we want to merge row wise. We want to add more rows to the data. So click on append query, okay, and then click on insert. Now, so it's description against concatenate rows from 2 tables into a single table. So for this one is 2 tables, and then the table we want to append is our page 2. Select page 2 and click on OK. Now, the benefit of doing it this way is so that we don't have to do all our transformation activities on the two sheets. Once you load the first page and you do all your transformation activities, right, on the first page, by the time you go to page two and append page two query, it will automatically apply all those transformation steps also onto page two. Now, so we have our two tables merged together now, right? Okay, so if you look at the first one, if you remember, we had 24 rows, but now that we've combined page two to it, we now have 48 rows. You can see that at the bottom here. 6 columns, 48 rows, and then our page two still has 6 columns, 24 rows. But this first one now has our initial page one and page two, if you understand what I mean. Now, how do I add all of the other columns to it? Page 3, 4, and 5, or more if you want. So you click on page 2 and then click on Advanced Editor here, because this requires us to modify our mQuery just a little bit. You don't need to study mQuery to advanced level before you can do this. So all I want to do to my mQuery here is just to say, okay, like a for loop, right? In normal programming, is like you having a for loop. So I'll create a variable called page, and so this is how you create a variable, right? So you want to change that. You want to look at the URL and see where it says page two or page anything, and then replace it with this our variable name that we have created. Or let me just say next page so that it's not confusing. Next page, okay? So let's look at our URL here. Now, if you look at the URL, you'll see at the end of it, you have PG, which is for page, and then you have to say this is page 2. But we want it to iterate through page 2 to 5, like I've explained before. So all we are doing is replace these 2 with our variable name. So it will go from 2 to 5. And to do that, you put in double quote, and then you concatenate with the name of our variable is next page, which is here. And then you click on done. Okay. Now, once you click on that, you'll see that it's converted our page 2 to a function, right? Because we want to call it. So if you give page 2 here and invoke, it will show you page 2 data. If you click on page 3 and invoke, it will give you page 3 data. If you give number 5 here and click on invoke, it will give you page 5 data. So to be able to get data for our other pages, which is page 3 to 5 now, like I said before, we're going to iterate to all of the pages. So how do we tell it that the next page now will be page 3, and then after page 4, and then after page 5? So all you have to do is go back to, so before I go on, let me close and apply here so I can go on to close and apply. Let it load up just a few minutes. Once it loads up, we go on to get data again, and then we go to blank query. But let's just hold on for this one to finish, just a minute. Okay, so once you click on get data and blank query, it will bring up this page for you, right? And then, so all you have to do is just to equal to curly brackets, okay, and then we'll do 2 dot dot 5. That means from 2 to 5, or values in 2 to 5, like we do in Python. Once you do this, you just click on enter, and then you can see now that it's created a list for us, which is from 2, 3, 4, and 5. right? And then the next thing is at the top here, click to convert to table, convert the list to a table. Okay. How to end, okay, how to handle extra columns, truncate. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Click on OK. So we have it as a table now. Okay. Now the next thing is to convert the data type to text, right? Because if you remember when we were telling it that it was page 2, it was in double quotes to signify that it was a textual data. And we have it in numbers now. So we need to convert the data type to text. Okay. So that's under transform and then change type to, or you can even do it here. Sorry, click here and then change the type to text. Okay. Now, once that is changed to text, the next thing we want to do is click on under add columns. You will see where it says invoke custom function, right? You click on invoke custom function and the function that we want to invoke, if you remember, we converted our page 2 to a function, is page 2. So once you click on that, and then the next page now that we is going to call will be the numbers we have in column 1 of our new query table. So just leave this as it is and click on OK. Okay, so that would do all of that for us. So once this step is done, we need to go back to our initial data. But before we go on, if you click here, you see that we have all the data for pages 2 to 5 extracted for us in a tabular format. To see that, click on this icon here to expand it, and then you click on OK. Now, if you look through, you'll see that we have the column number, which is indicating the page where the data was gotten from, and then we have all of the data from that page. Okay, if you scroll down, you'll see we have page 3, page 4, and then page 5 now. So we have all of our data that we need here. Now, the next thing to do here is to go on to, we actually do not need this column, so we can go ahead and delete it. We don't need to know where the page number that the data came from. So just click on that and say remove column. Okay. Once you remove that, we have only the data that we need. Now we need to come back to our initial data here, the first one, the first page that we extracted, and then we need to modify our append query. Okay, you remember we modified or we appended page 2 initially, but our page 2 is now a function. So we need to modify that and give it our new table containing our page 2 to 5 data, which is our query 1 table now. I hope you understand. Okay, so all you have to do is come here to your append query step and then click on the settings icon beside it. Okay, and now you need to change the table name to query 1. You can see that it's already giving us an error here at the top, right? To say that we cannot convert a value of type function to type table because our page 2 initially has been converted into a function. So we need to give it a new table, which is our new table query 1 containing data for pages 2 to 5. I hope that is well understood. So just click on OK here. Okay. Now, once you click on OK, you will see that we have all of our data here from page 1 through to 5. And if you look at the rows, you will see that we have, if you look down here, you see that we have 7 columns and 120 rows. So what extra column has been added? Okay, there's an empty column that has been added. You can just click on that and then say remove column. Okay. Right, so that is all done for us. So you can see we have 6 columns and 120 rows of data now for all of our pages 1 to 5. So at this point, now to ensure that you don't have duplicate data, or you don't load the data twice into your Power Query to so as not to slow down things, because if you have huge data set and you're loading twice, it may slow down the loading memory or the speed at which the data is loaded. So for that purpose, click on your query one, right, and uncheck enable load. This will ensure that it's not loaded again into your Power Query. Okay, and then for page right, so that is fine. You uncheck enable load here and we'll have only laptop data, which is our main data, to be loaded. Okay, we don't okay, once you do that and then you go back to your home page, click on close and apply to now apply this onto our Power Query, Power BI, and voila, we are done with loading data or scraping data from the web using the two different methods I've shown you. So that is it for today's tutorial, guys. Kindly let me know in the comment section if you enjoy content like this and if you want me to show you more ways to load data. I can also show you how to do a similar thing in Python. Let me also know in the comment section if it is something you will be interested in, and we can do that together. Okay, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. So once now that you have your data, you can begin to work with it as normal, create your visualizations, add your slicer, and create your report as you would regularly. But like I said, I won't be doing all of the creations here, because the essence of the tutorial is just to show you how to scrape data from the web. All right, guys, thank you. I'll be signing out here now, and I'll see you all in the next one.